Hindu family, but not a particularly religious family in either direction. In fact, when I met my wife, we were both, I would consider myself an agnostic or an atheist, and that's what I think she would have considered herself as well. You know, everybody has to come to their own arrangement here. The way that we've come to our arrangement is she's my best friend. We talk to each other about this stuff. So we decided to raise our kids Christian. Our two oldest kids who go to school, they go to a Christian school.
Vance has finally broken his silence about the whirlwind rumors surrounding his marriage to Usha. The internet's been buzzing nonstop about alleged tension, whispers of Erica Kirk's involvement, and even speculation about a possible split. Things are getting seriously intense behind the scenes. Meanwhile, another wild situation has people talking. Kas Patel reportedly used a government security team like his own personal ride service. Can you believe that? Reports claim he had federal agents help give a ride to his girlfriend's friend after a night out. That's right, your tax money allegedly being used to chauffeur someone home from a party. Unreal, Heather. It's the kind of story that makes people shake their heads in disbelief. If this had happened under a different setup, it would have been front-page scandal material for weeks. But now, shocking headlines like this barely make anyone blink because new controversies seem to pop up every single day. Here's what insiders are saying. Patel, who's around 45, has reportedly ordered his girlfriend's security detail more than once to act on personal errands. His girlfriend, a 27-year-old country singer named Alexis Wilkins, allegedly had her team drive her and even one of her friends home after a night out, and when agents hesitated, Patel allegedly told them to follow orders. People close to the situation say it left everyone stunned. And that's not even the end of today's drama, because there's also a major Netflix merger story that could shake up Hollywood. Why in the world would a federal security team have to take orders from a 27-year-old girlfriend of a government official? It's unbelievable. They're not even married, and honestly, even if they were, should someone's partner have the power to boss around federal agents? That just sounds wrong. People are fuming over the idea that public resources are being used this way, and honestly,
our 8-year-old did his first communion about a year ago. That's the way that we have come to our arrangement. But, thank you. My 8-year-old was also very proud of his first communion. Thank you, guys. I'll tell him that Ole Miss wishes him the best. But I think everybody has to have this own conversation when you're in a marriage. I mean, it's true for...
Who could blame them? According to insiders, there was even a heated moment when Patel allegedly called up the head of the detail and yelled at him to just do what she says. Imagine being a trained federal agent and suddenly having to follow personal requests like a chauffeur service? That's wild. Reports say Wilkins, who splits her time between Nashville and other cities for her country music career, supposedly has her own security team. And get this, it includes members from a local SWAT unit. The fact that a girlfriend, not a spouse, allegedly gets that level of protection is what's driving everyone crazy. People online are saying there should be clear boundaries. Official protection should only extend to legal partners or those with direct ties, not personal relationships. Even former agents are speaking up about how inappropriate this sounds. One ex-FBI official reportedly called the whole thing outrageous, saying it showed an alarming lack of professional judgment. Federal agents are supposed to serve the public, not act as private drivers for anyone connected to someone powerful. And that's not all. Experts are pointing out something even more serious. Pulling highly trained officers from life or death operations like counterterrorism or rescue missions just to escort someone home is putting everyone at risk. Those agents are meant to be saving lives, not handling nightlife errands. An FBI spokesperson, Ben Williamson, came forward to deny these claims, saying none of it is true, but people aren't so quick to let this go. The story has already stirred massive outrage, and everyone's waiting to see if there's more to come. Officials quickly shot back, saying the entire story was completely made up. They called it ridiculous, insisting none of it ever happened. It's always the same line.
Friends of mine who are in Protestant and Catholic marriages, friends of mine who are in, atheist and Christian marriages, you just got to talk to the only advice I can give is you just got to talk to the person that God has put you with, and you've got to make those decisions as a family unit. For us, it works out. Now, most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church.
It's fake, it's false, it's exaggerated, yet somehow these situations keep surfacing again and again. People are starting to wonder what's actually going on behind the scenes. The spokesperson even mocked the report, claiming there was no record of anything and joking that the so-called 3 sources were just imaginary voices. Pretty harsh. Still, this isn't the first time Patel has faced questions about his conduct. There were previous reports about him allegedly using government jets to visit his girlfriend. So even if this latest this claim seems wild, it's not too far off from what's already been said about him before. And honestly, when you think about it, the idea that a 27-year-old girlfriend might have friends who get a little too tipsy after a night out doesn't sound impossible at all. But having elite security officers act as drivers, that's definitely not what taxpayers expect their money to be spent on. Those agents train for major national security operations, not to play chauffeur after parties. It's just another example of how blurred the lines can get when power and privilege mix. But as wild as all that sounds, it's not the only headline grabbing attention right now, because there are new rumors swirling about JD Vance and his marriage to Usha. And this part is where things get deeply personal. From what's being said, it all started long before these recent controversies. The tension between JD and Usha reportedly began when he made public comments that many thought were dismissive toward her beliefs. Imagine your own partner openly saying they hope you change your faith, and that's a hard thing to hear. People were stunned that someone would publicly suggest their spouse's religion was wrong. It's confusing and emotional, especially since there's nothing wrong with what Usha believes. Everyone deserves the right to follow the spiritual path that strengthens them and gives them peace. And from what's been seen, Usha has always carried herself with grace and sincerity.
As I've told her and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
Religion should never be used as a wedge or a weapon in a marriage, but rather as a foundation for mutual respect and understanding. Now those comments are resurfacing again, and fans are wondering if they played a bigger role in the couple's rumored strain than anyone realized. Not all people of faith use religion the wrong way. Far from it, but some do twist it to gain power or influence, and that's what many believe caused tension between JD Vance and his wife, Usha. Things reportedly began spiraling after those controversial comments about her beliefs, and it only got more complicated when he was later seen in public sharing a friendly moment with Erica Kirk. That image spread fast online, fueling even more rumors about the state of his marriage. Then came the moment that really sent social media into overdrive. Usha appeared at an event without her wedding ring. Fans instantly noticed and speculation exploded. Was it a simple oversight or a subtle message about what's really happening behind closed doors? People couldn't stop talking about it. When JD was asked about all the online buzz surrounding their marriage, he tried to play it off with a laugh. He said that he and Usha kind of get a kick out of it. But really, does anyone believe that? Can you imagine Usha laughing about seeing endless rumors about her marriage everywhere she looks? That's hard to picture. Even the way he phrased it, "I think we get a kick out of it," sounded uncertain, almost hesitant, like he was trying to convince himself more than anyone else. He added that in life, you just have to take the good with the bad, saying there are sacrifices that come with public life, but also a lot of rewards. JD made these comments while sitting in his West Wing office, surrounded by family photos, images of him, Usha, and their children. He emphasized that their marriage is as strong as it's ever been, and that Usha has really grown into her role. But again, that repeated "I think" makes his words sound less like confidence and more like cautious reassurance. When asked about the missing ring, he tried to laugh it off, calling it funny and saying it's not a big deal. Still, for fans who've been watching every move, it didn't exactly silence the rumors. If anything, it just made people more curious about what's really happening behind that polished image. After JD tried to laugh off the missing ring and insisted everything was fine, people didn't exactly buy it. The internet is sharp, especially when it comes to body language, tone, and timing. And viewers noticed every little detail from that interview. They pointed out that his smile looked tight, that his eyes darted away when Usha's name came up, and that his voice had that faint, nervous edge. It didn't look like a man who was confident about his marriage. It looked like someone trying to hold it together while pretending nothing was wrong. Online, the theories began stacking up fast. Some said Usha's missing ring was a message, a quiet but powerful way of saying she was done being in the background. Others believed it was her subtle protest, that she wanted to remind people she wasn't just the senator's wife, but a woman with her own beliefs, her own voice, and her own boundaries. Whatever the truth is, one thing's for sure: the tension between JD and Usha has become impossible to ignore. And then came the whispers about Erica Kirk. A lot of people noticed how comfortable JD seemed around her during public events, how he smiled more freely, how they seemed to share private jokes that only the two of them understood. It might have been innocent or maybe not, but perception is everything when you're in the public eye. One photo can spark 1,000 rumors, and that hug between JD and Erica didn't help matters. Suddenly, online threads were flooded with screenshots, side-by-side comparisons, and endless speculation. Was there something more behind their connection, or was it just friendship caught at the wrong moment? Meanwhile, Usha appeared more distant than ever. She's always been known for her grace, calm, and quiet intelligence, but lately, her absence at certain key events has spoken volumes. Fans pointed out that she skipped several public appearances where JD stood alongside big names and key supporters. People asked, why isn't she there? Is she avoiding the spotlight, or is she tired of being part of a story she never signed up for? Friends of Usha describe her as deeply private, not someone who thrives on attention. They say she's focused on her children and her career, and that she's quietly been dealing with the emotional strain of being thrust into constant political drama. To many, she's become a symbol of quiet strength, someone trying to hold her dignity while the world speculates about her personal life. But that doesn't mean she's immune to the pressure. Insiders claim that behind closed doors, the tension between her and JD has been brewing for months. They've reportedly argued about his growing connection to certain political circles and his choice to surround himself with people Usha doesn't fully trust. Some even say she's felt betrayed by how quickly personal boundaries were blurred once fame and influence entered their lives. And that's where Erica Kirk's name keeps popping up. She's been spotted at multiple events near JD, sometimes in the same rooms where Usha used to stand proudly by his side. That alone has fueled speculation. But it's the way JD lights up when Erica speaks that's keeping people talking. Some fans have compared it to the same energy he used to show when Usha was around early in their relationship. Warm, attentive, and engaged. Now that warmth seems redirected and people are noticing. Still, not everyone is ready to believe the worst. Some supporters insist the rumors are exaggerated, arguing that JD and Usha's relationship is being unfairly picked apart by people who know nothing about their real dynamic. They say it's easy to judge from a distance, but much harder to understand the pressure of balancing public life, politics, and marriage. That argument makes sense, but the missing ring, the body language, and the repeated "I think" comments make the whole situation feel uncertain. Even JD's recent interviews have left people scratching their heads. He keeps emphasizing sacrifice, duty, and adjusting to new roles, but rarely does he talk about love or partnership the way he used to. It's as if the emotional connection has been replaced by formality, like he's describing a job instead of a relationship. Fans who've followed them since their early days notice the difference. The spark that once made them seem unshakable has dimmed. Then there's the question of what Usha truly wants now. Those close to her say she's been quietly pulling back, spending more time with close friends and mentors who remind her of the person she used to be before all the chaos. They say she's been reflecting deeply on what happiness means for her and her family, and whether the life they built still feels like hers. She's reportedly stopped attending certain political events altogether, even when encouraged to, choosing instead to focus on her own passions and projects. Meanwhile, JD seems to be doubling down on public appearances, almost as if he's trying to prove everything is perfect. Every photo, every interview, every carefully crafted soundbite feels like damage control, a performance to assure everyone that the family is united. But sometimes the more someone insists everything's fine, the less people believe it. And that's exactly what's happening here. Fans online are divided, some defending JD fiercely, others rallying around Usha, praising her for her quiet dignity amid chaos. Many are calling this a turning point, saying the situation has forced the public to see her as more than just a senator's wife. She's her own person, standing her ground in a storm of gossip and political tension. And yet, beneath all the noise, there's a heartbreaking undertone. What once looked like a strong partnership built on shared dreams now seems to be cracking under the weight of power, attention, and ambition. The small details, the missing ring, the careful wording, the distance, paint a picture of two people growing apart in plain sight. Still, there's hope. Some insiders say the couple has begun counseling, trying to reconnect away from the cameras. They want to protect their family and find peace amid the noise. Whether that means rebuilding or parting ways is something only time will reveal. But one thing's certain, this story is far from over, because every time Usha steps out alone, people notice. Every time JD appears beside someone new, the whispers grow louder. And every photo, every comment, every small move becomes fuel for speculation. It's like watching a real-life drama unfold, only this time it's not a TV show. It's their lives under the brightest, harshest spotlight imaginable. Whether this ends in reconciliation or a quiet goodbye, one thing's clear. Usha Vance has earned the public's respect for handling it all with grace. And JD, no matter how confident he sounds in interviews, has a long road ahead if he hopes to win back that same trust. Because in a world where everything is captured, posted, and analyzed, love isn't just a private emotion anymore. It's a public test of truth. Now, there's another story that JD Vance himself recently shared. One that's meant to clear up all the buzz about Usha's missing wedding ring. According to him, it all happened during a hectic morning when he and Usha were rushing to the White House for an event. They were supposed to meet the second lady before she headed out with Melania, and everything was moving fast. As they got into the car, Usha suddenly realized she'd left her rings upstairs after taking a shower. JD claims she panicked for a moment, saying something like, "If I don't go back and grab them, people online are going to lose their minds over it." He says he laughed and told her to just forget about it, that it wasn't worth running back upstairs, and that they could have a little fun watching the whole thing turn into a viral topic. So that's the version JD's sticking with, that the missing ring was nothing more than an innocent mix-up. He says they even joked about it later, watching people online turn a small thing into a full-blown rumor storm. But the problem is, not everyone believes that story. Many people are convinced it sounds rehearsed. Too neat, too convenient, like a carefully written cover line meant to calm things down. Critics are saying it doesn't add up. If the ring really meant nothing, why did Usha look so tense that day? Why does this keep happening over and over again? And why does it always come right after another wave of speculation about their relationship? Coincidence? Maybe. But people aren't buying it. The bigger question here isn't just about the ring, it's about image, how public figures manage perception when cracks start showing. JD's story feels like an attempt to turn a serious question into a funny anecdote, but it only made people more suspicious. Fans who once believed the happy couple narrative are now wondering if the smiles are starting to fade behind the scenes. Observers have even pointed out that Usha's body language during recent events feels distant, polite but detached. She stands beside JD, but the warmth that once defined them seems to have cooled. Whether that's just stress or something deeper, no one can say for sure, but the energy between them isn't the same. And then, in the middle of all this relationship drama, another major headline dropped, one that could shake up Hollywood and the entertainment world completely. Reports confirm that Netflix is officially purchasing Warner Brothers film and streaming assets, meaning Netflix will soon own not just the Warner Brothers catalog, but also HBO Max's massive library of shows and movies. This merger could completely transform the streaming industry, consolidating power under one giant platform and giving Netflix control over decades of classic films, blockbuster franchises, and hit TV series. Analysts are calling it one of the boldest moves in entertainment history, while fans are already debating what it'll mean for their favorite shows. Some are excited, saying it could lead to better production budgets and crossovers between iconic franchises. Others are nervous that Netflix's style of content management might change the legacy of Warner's storytelling tradition. Either way, it's clear the streaming landscape is never going to be the same again. So while JD and Usha's story continues to unfold in Washington, a whole different kind of drama is taking center stage in Hollywood. And both are proving that power, image, and control always come with a price. I just have to say this. Maybe it doesn't completely tie into JD and Usha's story, but in a strange way, it kind of does. Because whether it's relationships or corporations, it all comes down to one thing: power and balance. And right now, I'm just so tired of seeing giant monopolies take over everything. It's like every industry is being swallowed up by the same few mega companies and no one's doing anything to stop it. This Netflix and Warner Brothers deal is the perfect example of how deep this goes. If it actually gets approved, which analysts say could happen within the next 12 to 18 months, it's going to change everything. Netflix would gain control of all Warner Brothers stars' massive film and streaming assets, including HBO Max, giving them power over an unbelievable amount of entertainment content. Sounds exciting on the surface, right? But here's the catch. When one company controls that much, prices go up, creativity goes down, and competition disappears. Think about it. The whole point of having different streaming services was to give viewers options. But when one player starts absorbing the rest, we end up right back where we started, paying more for less. The cheapest Netflix plan could easily hit $25 a month in the next couple of years. It's wild. But that's what happens every time competition gets crushed. Once they have all the power, they can raise prices however they want, because where else are people gonna go? And honestly, this isn't just about streaming, it's happening everywhere, with tech companies, supermarkets, healthcare providers, even real estate. Slowly but surely, a handful of corporations are controlling everything we depend on while pretending it's all about convenience. But there's nothing convenient about paying triple the price just to survive in a system where no one else is allowed to compete. I don't know how we ended up here, but it feels like we're sliding toward a future where one day your rent, your food, your healthcare, and your entertainment all come from the same company. And you're forced to pay whatever they say. Imagine that, one app for your entire life, but it costs more than your paycheck. It's scary, and yet somehow we're watching it happen in real time. What makes it worse is that people are starting to accept it like it's normal. We shrug when prices rise, we sigh when a new merger gets announced, and we tell ourselves, that's just business. But it's not just business. It's power being concentrated in a few hands while the rest of us lose control. That's the exact opposite of what competition is supposed to do. Competition sparks creativity, keeps prices fair, and makes companies earn your trust. Without it, everything becomes predictable, lazy, and expensive. And maybe that's where it connects back to JD and Usha's story, because relationships need balance too. Just like in love, when one side holds all the control, the whole thing starts to fall apart. There has to be give and take, mutual respect, and shared responsibility. Without that, you're just left with one person calling the shots while the other quietly fades into the background. Whether it's marriage or business, the principle is the same. Balance keeps things alive. So yeah, maybe this rant about monopolies isn't as random as it seems. It's a reminder that too much control, in any form, always leads to collapse. And if we don't start pushing back, we're heading toward a world where choice becomes a luxury and independence becomes a memory. Anyway, that's where I'll leave it for now. Let me know what you think. Are these mega mergers getting out of hand, or is this just how the world evolves? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives and stories like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.